And folks, it is really great to be with you again today. I just returned from a mystery trip where we had a really, really great time. Everyone was so thrilled. They applauded that they were finally out of the house and getting to travel. And I have a feeling you are here today for that very same reason. So let's take a look at what we have to offer you and realize there's some really great special deals for you. So in the opening slides, you can see all the myriad of places that we go for our 2021 travel preview. Let's see what the next slide shows us. This is the founder of AFC in the top left, Randy Case. Randy is still a consultant and he plans many things. He meets with the team in regards to marketing as well as tour destination, but he is sort of retired, shall we say. But what you see is Matt Kennel, who is in the bottom left picture standing there with Randy. Matt has a long history in travel, been at it for 28 years and really knows all about this world of ours. And Matt is now the president of AFC, and he is doing such a great job carrying on the legacy that Randy created so many years ago. With an AFC tour, we are committed to your wellness. That is very important. And it was certainly practiced and demonstrated on the last tour that I did. And I know Deb Howard just had a tour to Savannah and Charleston, and she had the very same situation. We will be wearing masks on the motor coach, at least for the foreseeable future. If you're not vaccinated, I hope you will consider it, but it's not a requirement. Although so many of the people that traveled on the two tours that we led were vaccinated, and it certainly gives a peace of mind, doesn't it? So understand that we take care of the motor coach with sanitizing it. We keep you separated as much as possible. And of course, we keep our distance. So understand we are very aware of your the fitness and wellness of your being, as well as in terms of the hotels that we choose, the motor coach companies, and even the restaurants. These are some of the managers of our AFC team. They have all been working virtually this past year, and they are all starting to come back into the office. So we will be answering the phone just like we always have. And you can see Joe, someone you talk to a lot, on your left, and you can see April as well on the left. And Claudia on the far right is another person you will talk to in terms of your booking or questions about tours. We want to make this as seamless as possible for you, so why not just leave your car in the garage? And we will get you to your destination either by rideshare van, and I don't mean rideshare like Uber. It will be a van that we actually charter, and you will join one or two or three other AFC participants making your way to your closest airport. If you wish to have a more personal experience for just a little bit more money, we can get a limo type vehicle for you, such as you see in the picture. The best news is they drop you right off at the front door, and they're standing there with a sign waiting for you when you return. So this is something that Randy, the founder of AFC, pioneered many years ago, and it has worked so well. And I know it is one of the features that you love about AFC Vacations. So many ways to save money. My goodness, the multiple vacation savings, the refer a friend. But the one thing I really want you to see is the early booking savings, the cash booking savings that you can make anywhere from $50 to $350 if you are in the first 10 to sign up for certain tours. And if you're in the number 11 through 20, it's not as much, but it is still significant. Also, don't forget singles. You can save 50% on certain tours, and that's applicable, I believe, to the first 5 who book that tour. So jump on board. The sooner you get on board, the sooner you get the savings. With an AFC vacation, everything is included virtually. Even our airfare is included, of course, and we will take care of booking that for you. We will book your closest airport, whichever one you prefer, and we'll even upgrade you if you want. And remember this, your friends, your family, they don't have to come join you from your airport. They can leave from any city in the USA or the world for that matter and meet us at that destination. Well, we have a lot of places that we go literally throughout the world, from Switzerland to Italy, the river boats, the Canyonlands, the Pacific Northwest, even the Orient. We cover it all. So let's take a look at some of the things that we do on our worldwide tours and cruises. First of all, we eat very, very well. Oh my goodness. I think I've gained probably 25 pounds since I started working for AFC, probably 13, 14 years ago. And we take you to memorable places, oftentimes where there is a learning experience related to the meal, and certainly to some of the best known dining establishments in the area in which we're traveling. We also stay at the best accommodations. Oh, we stay at unusual, unique places. We also stay at some of the world-class hotels that you would love and expect, such as the Grand Hotel in Mackinac Island that you see. But we also stay at some of the name brand hotels that are quality. I'm speaking of DoubleTree hotels, Hilton's, Hyatt's. Those are all on our hotel list for an AFC vacation. Now, we are a member of USTOA as a result of the acquisition of AFC, and Matt tells me that this gives you $1 million of travelers assistance. It is only about 30 some odd companies in the US, I believe, that actually can be a member of this, because you have to be a certain sized company. And with this, you get low cost travel protection, and there is a feature in that protection which allows you to cancel for any reason. Now, you have to purchase the protection plan, of course, but the point is it does give you that option, and that is really a nice feature for an AFC vacation. Well, let's take a look at where we go. Let's just look at June, July, and August. I'm not going to read all the destinations to you, but look how many are sold out. That ought to tell you something, because there is pent-up demand. I mean, people are so anxious to get out and do something. And now that over 50% of the U.S. population, or adults, I should say, have at least their first vaccine, there are more and more people that are choosing to travel because they have that comfort level. So take a look at the various opportunities that look really good to you and jump on board. I will tell you this, some of these will sell out very quickly. In the San Antonio Fiesta will probably sell out. Certainly the Black Hills, the Colorado Rockies and Rail, our mystery tours almost always sell out. Yellowstone sells out. So consider, get on board. Remember this, if you book your spot, you've got it held. If you need to change something, we will work with you. But let's determine what you want to do right now. Here's your reservations team, Joe, Claudia, April, and then, of course, the whole AFC team. You can call us. We'll talk about any aspect of your tour, or you can email Joe, or you can visit us for the various forms that are needed for international, cruising, or domestic. The special that you get today, because you have attended this show, is if you sign up by next Friday, that's April the 30th, we're going to give you a $175 deposit. That's essentially 2 for 1, half the deposit amount, which means you get to keep your money in your bank. Plus, we're going to give you an additional $25 off just for being here today and listening to us. Here's some of our tour directors. It's not certainly all of us, and I think you recognize probably Deb, myself, Denise, Chuck, and Pat, but you might not recognize Brad Wenzel. Brad is from Missouri. He is a longtime, experienced, fun tour director, and if you travel with him, I promise you, you will want to go back again and again. Here's Deb's schedule. There again, I'm not going to read it all to you, but her tours fill up. She is popular, and so you need to decide what you want to do, put down your deposit, get that $25, and then go on one of Deb's tours. The tours I will be leading in 2021 are exciting, at least they are to me, and I think they will be to you. I tend to lead the tours that I love the most, and I'm really fortunate that those are the tours I am assigned, and I hope you will consider traveling with me on some of these. Now, some of these tours are of international nature, and you have to know that right now, most countries are allowing us in if you have a vaccine. Some are allowing us without a vaccine, but I would certainly want to have that protection were it me. You have to make that decision. But I do hope you will join me. I know the June 6th Idaho, I believe that's sold out. Swiss Villages is doing well, U.S. Canadian National Parks, lots of options, and the Pasadena Rose Parade. Folks, those of you who are not in California, you need to be a part of this. You might even be someone in California who wants to see it up close. Come join me for the Rose Parade. Pat Conway has some great tours at U.S. Canadian National Parks. He's leading one version. I'm leading the identical tour as well. He's also leading Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore. The Chicago All Access. Pat really knows this well. It's an unpack once. And who could go wrong with Niagara Falls and the Grand Hotel? And then Pat will also lead a National Parks tour in the Southwest. So, Denise Wright, she's leading a Yellowstone tour on June the 15th. Chuck Denny, a wonderful tour director, good friend of mine, is leading the October 2nd Brandywine and Poconos. And Pat is leading America's Music City, all about Memphis and Branson and Nashville, and then the December Music City's holiday tour as well. We have some encore mystery tours. What does that mean? Well, first of all, a mystery tour is to an unusual, unique place, a place that wouldn't be found in virtually anybody's catalog anywhere in the country. Past mystery tours might include Prescott, Arizona. It might include the Golden Isles of Georgia. A past mystery tour might include the Finger Lakes of New York. Well, I have the privilege of leading October 25th and December 7th, two mystery tours that just happen to be two of my very favorite tours. I've led them both on 3 different occasions, and I promise you, if you go on either one of these, you will be thrilled. So check that out. A mystery tour. We tell you what kind of clothing to bring. We tell you what the temperatures will be. Other than that, it will be a mystery. But they are very popular and they will fill up. These are some new mystery tours. Deb and I lead a good number of these mystery tours, and Deb's leading the June. Well, you see, they're all being led by Deb, and then we have a December international tour. We will have an international guide on that one, so check that out. Well, why do we travel? So many reasons. I think pin-up demand is probably number one on your list, but we want to share the world with those we love, and it's always fun to go with a roommate or a spouse or a good friend. It's fun to be with people you have already met on previous AFC tours, and we make memories, lasting memories, and boy, do we have fun. So let's take a look at some places you might consider going. Smoky Mountain and Pigeon Forge Holiday. It's a holiday trip coming up in December. You think, wow, this isn't even summer yet. But it's time to decide on these things, because these are the tours that fill up. If you've not seen the Biltmore Mansion decked out for Christmas, you have missed a treat. We will see the sights of Gatlinburg, the music of Pigeon Forge. It has it all. Even moonshine tasting. Can you imagine? Well, check that one out. It's a wonderful trip in December, starting on the 5th. The Music City Holidays is, of course, all about music. It has shows in Branson. We also go to Little Rock to the Clinton Presidential Library. We'll see all about Memphis, the Beale Street and the blues. Elvis Presley's Graceland, of course, and then Nashville and the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I love going to the Grand Ole Opry at the Ryman Auditorium, something you don't get to do in the summer months, but they move to the Ryman in the winter months. And of course, that's the original place for it all. So check out Music City's Holiday. The Rose Parade. This is a tour I will lead on December the 10th. Now remember, you can be a Californian and still join me for this, but I will tell you, it is one of the 7 most important man-made sites in this world that I have been to. And I could name them all for you sometime if we're together, the ones I love. But we do so much. If you don't see the Rose Parade in person one time in your life, you have missed a treat, simply because on television, it just doesn't do it justice. We have grandstand seating. We take you right there. All the headaches and hassles of where to park and how to get to your seating is taken out of the equation. We have the prime rib lunch at Lowry's. And of course, we go to the Nixon Library in Yorba Linda. We'll do a tour of Hollywood and San Juan Capistrano, Laguna Beach, and Newport. Even includes San Diego. It includes so much. But the Rose Parade is the focus, and I really hope you'll join me on December the 30th for this great event. America's Music City is one I spoke about a moment ago. We fly into St. Louis, and we'll make our way down through Missouri to Branson, Little Rock, Memphis, and Nashville, seeing the sites I spoke of a moment ago. Look at the shows in Branson alone. Soji has been there a long time and is so popular. I love the Duttons, and the Doug Gabriel show is a great show. We even go out on the Branson Bell, which you see in the bottom middle of this picture. And then, of course, in Little Rock, the library, the Clinton Library, Elvis's Graceland, and all the sites in Memphis and Nashville. Georgia on My Mind is a tour that I have led and other of our tour directors have led, and I love it, and I know you love Unpacking One Time. We stay at the Hyatt Regency Midtown in Atlanta. One unpack once. Isn't that great? I just love doing that. And we're going to see all the sights of Atlanta, from the Gone with the Wind Museum, an Atlanta City tour, CNN, so many sites. I think the Carter Library has to be one of the top 3 libraries of presidential fame that I have ever seen. Even go out to Stone Mountain and Franklin Roosevelt's Little White House. Now, the spring tour does dogwoods and azaleas, and the fall tour, this is the one we're talking about here, takes you up toward Helen, Georgia, and we will see the beautiful foliage of the Smoky Mountains. The San Antonio Fiesta, this is my hometown. I live about 35 miles from San Antonio and worked in San Antonio for many, many, many years. And this is an event which normally is in the early spring, but they wisely moved it to June last year when they had to cancel it. And this is the largest night parade in the world. It's as big as the Rose Parade in terms of numbers of participants. 750,000 people come out. What's great about that? Your hotel is right next to our seating. It is reserved seating. But that's just one event. It's quite exciting. But we're also going to see the River Parade as well. We're going to take you to the Tower of Americas, and we'll have a private boat cruise. We'll go to Austin and the LBJ Library, the quaint city of Fredericksburg. It's a German city of Admiral Nimitz fame. And I love the LBJ Ranch at Stonewall, Texas, as well. And you'll see the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. Niagara Falls and the Grand Hotel. Did you know one year I led this 9 times in 2 years? It was exciting, and how can you ever get tired of staying at the Grand Hotel? We're going to fly into Detroit, and we're going to see a few Henry Ford things that are very important, such as Greenfield Village, where the industrial world has been brought together by Henry Ford, and to learn about its origins and the impact on the U.S., as well as the Henry Ford Museum. We go to Frankenmuth, the Bavarian Village. We also go to Mackinac Island, and we will stay at the Grand Hotel for 2 nights, have a horse-drawn carriage ride through the state park. We will eat lavishly. It's a wonderful tour. Then we cross the Blue Water Bridge, making our way to Niagara Falls. On the Canadian side, the rooms overlook the falls, and we will see everything from the Great Gorge, where Superman rescued Lois Lane. You'll see the Spanish Arrow Car. You'll see the Floral Clock. You'll see the falls from both the American and the Canadian sides, and even go up to Niagara on the Lake, which is a beautiful, beautiful place where the Niagara River flows into Lake Ontario. Chicago All Access, this is a Pat Conway tour, and there again, I like it. Unpack once. Palmer House Hilton is where we stay, and we will be 6 nights in one place. We'll see everything you'd want to see in Chicago, including the Millennial Bean that you see to the top left. We'll do an architectural tour with a very knowledgeable docent guide on the Chicago River. Wrigley Field, the Gangster Tour, the Untouchables Tour, all these sites. Cantigny Park of Wrigley fame is probably one of the best World War II museums in the nation. And we go up to Racine, where we see the S.C. Johnson wax headquarters. And you say, what's important about that? Well, Frank Lloyd Wright designed it. It's unique, it's unusual, and it is fascinating. So check this Unpack Once tour out. Great Trains and Grand Canyons. It is, well, clearly one of the most popular tours AFC offers. And it's 5 nights in Sedona. You fly in and out of Phoenix. We go to Montezuma's Castle. The Verde Canyon Rail Train is as scenic. It's scenic any time of the year you do it. The Grand Canyon Rail Train from Williams all the way up to the Grand Canyon. And then we motor coach you back to historic Flagstaff and back to the Red Rocks of Sedona. You'll see it all on this. And for 6 days and 5 nights, and look at all those departures from which to choose, you have a great adventure waiting for you. The Southwest National Parks is a tour that includes something that so many of our tours don't, and that is the west end of the Grand Canyon. And that's where the Sky Bridge is located. And that's a glass bridge you can walk out on and sort of peer down way deep into the canyon. And it will include the Grand Canyon West and the Skywalk, but we're also going to take you to Bryce and Zion. We're going to base ourselves for 3 nights out of the city of Mesquite. Now, folks, if you like to spend a little money on the slot machines, this is the place, because it is the closest place in Utah that you can actually get to legalized gambling, because it is in Nevada. So we'll be 3 nights there, 2 nights in Vegas with some free time, and even the Valley of Fire. Check this one out. It has such a variety and interesting things to do. The Canyon de Chelly in Mesa Verde was once a mystery trip. I've led it probably 4 times, I think, and I believe I'm leading it this time as well. Going to fly you into Albuquerque. We're going to take you to the Sky City of Acoma to learn about the Acoma Indians living high on the mesa for so many years. They still live there, actually. Spend the night at a beautiful Hyatt Regency or Hilton Hotel, I should say, in Gallup. And then we have an archaeological guide in the Petrified Forest and Painted Desert. He's a national park ranger. We're going to take you to Ganado to learn about the trading post that is there. And we're also going to take you to Canyon de Chelly. That's in Chinle, where the red rocks, as you see in the upper left picture, are there, and they are full of cliff dwellings. We'll literally drive up the river and see the various cliff dwellings during one of our days. You'll see 4 Corners. We're going to take you to Mesa Verde National Park with a docent guide as well, who is an archaeological expert, and then over to Durango, Farmington for the night, and then to Old Town Albuquerque before we fly home. Wonderful 4 nights, 5 days. Ultimate Canyonlands has to be one of my top 2 favorite tours. Many of you know that I lived in Zion National Park for 5 years, actually had a house there that I built for a total of 10 years. And I just love this tour. And I want you to look at all the national parks that we will visit. I was trained with ranger training as I actually drove buses into 3 of those national parks for the National Park Service during those 5 years, leading tours. And Zion National Park, the Bryce Canyon National Park, the Escalante Grand Staircase, Capitol Reef National Park. Goblin Valley's a state park, but it should be a national park. It's so beautiful. Arches and Canyonlands National Parks, Edge of the Cedars, the best museum of Native American artifacts I've ever seen. We go to Monument Valley. We also go to the Glen Canyon Recreation Area, which is Lake Powell, including Antelope Canyon, like you see in the bottom left picture. Coral Pink Sand Dunes, and then finally back to Las Vegas. Folks, it is a wonderful 8 nights, 9 days of seeing some of the most scenic portions of our Southwest United States you could imagine. The Balloon Fiesta is the most photographed event in the world, and we do it the right way. We're 2 nights in Albuquerque so that we can see the special shapes, the Mass Ascension, the night glow, and then we make our way to Santa Fe for 3 days, where we include Los Alamos of nuclear fame, and also up to Taos and the sights of Santa Fe. Waterways and Northwest National Parks includes the San Juan Islands. Look at what we do, 2 nights in Seattle. And we're going to see the sights of Seattle while we are there, including Pike Place Market. I love going to the Flying Fish Market there. And we're going to cross the Puget Sound on a ferry, and we're going to make our way as well out to Port Angeles, where we'll spend 2 nights and we'll do some whale watching. We're going to see the Olympic National Park, a solid 100 miles west of Seattle. And it's snow-covered, and it's also very tropical looking in places. And then to Tacoma, and we're going to spend 2 nights there. The Chihuly Glass is located there. The Northwest Trek Wildlife Park is amazing. And you're not at a zoo. You are driving through the middle of all of these well-known native species to our northwestern U.S. And then famous Mount Rainier that you see in the upper left picture as you see the skyline of Seattle. So that is a July 16th tour. I'm not leading it, but I sure wish I was, because it is a winner. Black Hills in the Badlands, of course, has sites we've all had on our bucket list. And if you haven't been there, you need to go, not just for Mount Rushmore, but for Crazy Horse. What a giant monument that is. Did you know all the faces of the presidents would fit on the forehead of Crazy Horse? That's how big that picture to the right, that sculpture to the right actually is. Also, we go to Custer State Park. We take you as well to Devil's Tower, and we'll see Kevin Costner's Dances with the Wolves movie set. It's a wonderful tour covering so much in that central South Dakota area with one little jaunt over into Wyoming to see Devil's Tower. Hope you'll check that out. 2 dates, the 14th of July, the 25th of August. Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore, well, several of us lead that tour. I am leading one that's, if it's not sold out, it's close to it, but several others lead that tour, and they do a really great job. Denise Wright is a national parks expert. She loves her national parks, so I hope you'll consider her tour as well. But we see it all, but look at the direction we go. We're going to start at Mount Rushmore and Rapid City. We're going to see the various sites there up to Deadwood, and we will as well make our way across to Devil's Tower, spend the night in Sheridan, and then to the Buffalo Bill Museum in Cody. We are entering Yellowstone National Park through what I consider the most scenic portal to the park. That is it's the eastern entrance, which goes westbound into the park. We're 2 nights in Yellowstone, seeing all the sites, upper, lower, middle geyser basin. We'll take you to Tower Falls. We'll take you to the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. You'll see a whole lot of Yellowstone. And then to the Grand Tetons. Jackson Hole, which means valley, is where we'll stay, and we will see the various sites, including Jenny Lake and Coulter Bay in Jackson, Wyoming. So check this out. We end up in Salt Lake, going over Bear Lake, and we'll see the sights of Salt Lake. The U.S. and Canadian National Parks is a tour that I consider probably one of the most scenic in North America. It's a tour I've led many times. Pat Conway has led it a number of times. And I know I'm leading one version of it, and I think Pat's leading the same tour as well, and Pat will do a fabulous job with it. Into Seattle, we follow the Columbia River up toward Castlegar, and then we are on roads like the Yukon Territory. That's the best way to describe them. Over to Revelstoke National Park, crossing Upper Arrow Lake on a ferry. The whole motor coach drives onto this giant ferry. It's part of the Columbia River. We're also going to see Glacier National Park in Canada, Yoho National Park, which is part of Lake Louise, and the Icefields Parkway, Banff National Park, Kootenai National Park, where Radium Hot Springs is located. Fernie is very Swiss Village-like. Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump is about the Native Americans, and they're harvesting once a year of every part of the bison. And then the Peace Parks, Waterton Lakes and Glacier National Park, including the Going to the Sun Road. We're going to see Wallace, Idaho, and finally return to Spokane. 9 days, fabulous tour, scenery like you could not imagine. And the pictures you see here are images we took. So that is what it looks like. The Idaho Adventure is another tour that, well, the one I'm leading is sold out, but I know we have other versions of it. Well, there it is, September 26th. What a beautiful time to go, because the leaves are changing. You have the gorgeous cottonwood changing in the valleys, and you have the mesquite trees changing, and certainly the aspen. And the jet boat ride on the Salmon River is a part of this. We're going to be going over some mountain ranges that are just wilderness like you wouldn't believe. We'll also do a optional rafting trip on the Salmon River. The jet boat ride is actually on the Snake River. The Ryder Ranch in Coeur d'Alene is part of it. The Riders have been friends of mine for years. And of course, the Lewis and Clark Discovery Center. But look at this. We stay as well at the last part of the tour at the Sun Valley Lodge. This is world-class lodging, beautiful place. And we'll see Ketchum as well before heading to Boise for our flight home. The Colorado Rails and National Parks is a wonderful tour in that we fly in and out of Denver, but then we're going to make our way across I-70 to Vail and Grand Junction. After 2 nights in Grand Junction, we'll see Arches and Canyonlands while we're there. We'll also probably take you along the Colorado Gorge, which is one of the fastest ways to get to Arches. Coming over The Highway 550, the $1 million highway to Silverton, is a thrill. The only way to describe it. And then we'll take the Durango Silver Train from Silverton down to Durango. We'll visit Mesa Verde, Great Sand Dunes National Park. Did you know the Great Sand Dunes are larger than any sand dunes in the Sahara? And then we will also do the Royal Gorge Railway, or I'm not Royal Gorge, I'm sorry. We are going to take you on the Pikes Peak Railway, as we are 3 nights in Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs, and that whole beautiful area. It's a great trip. Look at that, 9 days. And look at the options you have, 3 departures. Cape Cod and the Islands is a tour that Deb Howard leads. I love this tour. I've led it on several occasions, and several others of our tour directors have as well. 5 nights. It's a unpack once, essentially, because we do have 1 night in Boston for our return trip. But Yarmouth is such a beautiful place out on the Cape. We're going to take you to beautiful Newport, where the Breakers Mansion exists. We'll go by ferry to Martha's Vineyard. We'll take another ferry to Nantucket and tour. We're going to take you all the way to the tip end of Provincetown, where the Pilgrims first landed in 1620 before coming to Plymouth Rock. And then, of course, it includes Boston and a city tour, including Faneuil Hall and Quincy Market. No tour to New England would be complete without a lobster dinner, and we will have that for you as well. The Coastal Maine Lighthouses and Landscapes is a tour Deb Howard actually designed in conjunction with the founder of AFC, Randy Case. And she lives near Providence, Rhode Island, and she put this together, and Maine is a favorite of hers, and I love it as well. Deb even has a cabin in Maine. It's called it's not called a cabin. It's a lake house, basically. And we'll be making our way from Boston up to Portsmouth in New Hampshire. And look at this, you're going to go to York, Algonquin. That's probably one of the most scenic places in Maine. 5 nights in Kennebunkport, including Portland and the Portland Head Lighthouse, the Natick Lighthouse as well. And we're going to take you up into the White Mountains of New Hampshire, including the scenic train going through Conway, the North Conway Scenic Railroad, even a maple syrup factory tour. So let's check that one out. Look at that lobster roll on the upper right. Makes me hungry. Brandywine in the Poconos is a wonderful tour. Deb generally leads this, but I believe we have someone else leading this tour. It was in the first part of our program, and it includes the Longwood Gardens, as well as the Demures Estate. And Longwood, of course, is a gorgeous, gorgeous garden. It's so huge, it's almost impossible to see it all, but it is so, so beautiful. We're also going to go to the Philadelphia and see Alfred's Alley, and of course the Independence Hall and the Constitution Museum. This tour takes you out to Amish country and to Hershey, where you're going to have a chocolate tasting. We'll go to the Poconos as well, and the Asa Packard Mansion. Pittsburgh and Falling Waters was one time a mystery tour. I have led it 3 times, I believe, maybe 4, as a mystery tour, and it is so popular. People have talked about it and said, oh, I wish I had known. Well, now you know. This is a tour that is not the city of smog and steel. It is a regentrified city where the Allegheny and the Monongahela rivers come together to create the Ohio River. And you're going to see that very view from the top left image from the Duquesne rail train. We'll see Fort Pitt. We're going to go to the Hartford Estates, the country estate there. One of the highlights is Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Waters in the top right picture. And of course, historic tours of Pittsburgh and the conservatory and gardens. The Heinz ketchup and all the museums that Heinz and Carnegie put together in the University of Pittsburgh all make this a tour well worth your time. You won't be disappointed. Let's take a look at international departures. Now, let me say this about international departures. Let me reiterate this one more time. We have wonderful international departures planned. Many of them are open. They're ready for business. We have some that are open only if you are vaccinated, and we can enlighten you as to which tours those would be. We have some that we are offering. They haven't yet opened up, but we expect them to open soon. And when they do open, it's going to all take place rapidly. You need to be on board and ready to go. And understand, if you sign up for a tour and for any reason that tour does not make, you'll get your money back. That's not going to be a problem. But do consider these international departures because there are so many wonderful places to see, and we've missed a year seeing things, so it's time to jump on board and do that. Swiss Villages is one of them. That is clearly my favorite tour. It's my number one on my list. I've led it 78 times, and I'll be leading it this time as well. We have July, August, and September departures. And understand this, you are 6 nights in one location, high in the mountains. There are, when I say high in the mountains, you're only 4,000 feet, but you have mountains all around you. There are no roads leading to our village. We will travel exclusively by cable car, lake steamer, funicular, gondola, fast train, cog train, so many modes of transportation. And we will see sites that are not on anybody's bucket list. You've heard of Lucerne, you've probably heard of Bern, and of course Zurich we fly into, but all the rest of the places will be the highlights of your tour. So check this out. It is a place I could spend all summer long leading tours, and I hope someday that really happens. I love this village. It's Wengen, Switzerland, Alpine Swiss Villages. Athens in the Greek Isles. I used to spend every March in the Greek Isles. Always seemed to have either a school group or some type of retirement community that wanted to go there. It's a great time to go there. But we have an October departure as well. Summer is when I don't want to go there because there's so many people. But in October, it's not that way. Look at what we do. Oh, we fly into Athens and we're on that Peloponnese. It's an arm that sticks down. It's sort of almost like an island below the main part of Greece. And we're going to see the Acropolis and the museum, the Parthenon. But we're also going to take you by high-speed ferry, not by cruise ship. And we're going to spend time actually in Mykonos and actually in Santorini for 2 nights each. It is the right way to do it. The cruise ship gives you a couple of hours there, and you don't get to know the islands and the people and experience the flavor of the wonderful food. So consider this tour. There's also a wonderful 3-night extension taking you up to Kalambaka as well, and Delphi, where the Oracle is located. Beautiful village in the mountains. So I hope you'll consider this. The Iceland Explorer, well, Condé Nast Magazine says it is the most popular destination even today, and it was just before the pandemic as well. Now, we don't try to cover the entire island. It's large, and you would spend an inordinate amount of time on a motor coach. In this case, we're taking you on what's called the Golden Circle Tour, and we're going to see the sites that are the most important. You see them highlighted in the picture of the beautiful waterfalls, the Blue Lagoon that you see, the folk museums. It is all about what is in reasonable distance of Reykjavik, and I will tell you, folks, not a single day will go by that you don't say, wow, as you see Skogafoss Falls waterfall and the Viking Ship Museum. So much to see. So consider the 2 dates that we have, the 15th and the 6th. Folks, going to Iceland is an experience you will not ever forget. But remember this, it fills up quickly, and getting the space is difficult. So you need to grab the space we have and let us show it to you the right way. Ecuador and the Galapagos is a tour that I will be leading. I love Quito. I love Ecuador. And we're going to fly into Quito, and we're going to spend 3 nights seeing Quito. We'll have a tour of Quito. But the focus of the tour is the Galapagos. So many people sign up for a 7-day cruise in the Galapagos. And honestly, folks, 4 days is giving you the best of the best. By day 5, it's like, okay, another red-footed booby, another giant another giant tortoise, another land iguana. We take you to give you just the highlights of it, and you'll be so glad you did it our way. We'll cross the equator on several occasions. It is 4 nights on the ship. It's 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador, and I hope you will join me on November 9th. I already know some friends from my area that are going, and I hope you will join us. The Passion Play was supposed to take place, as you probably know, in 2020. They wisely moved it back 2 years, And that gives us a chance for people to get vaccinated and to be in a far better position to see this wonderful once every 10-year event. Look at all we do. We fly into Munich, and yes, we will go to Oberammergau and we see the play. We have reserved seating for you, difficult ticket to get, but we've got it. We're going to take you to Neuschwanstein Castle as well. We're going to go down to Salzburg. We're going to take you out to the Lake District to see the Mondsee and the Wolfgangsee lakes, where The Sound of Music was filmed, and a Salzburg tour as well. I love the fact that we're going to go up through the Danube Gorge on a day cruise, as well as beautiful Vienna. And if you wish, you can go to what I consider the most beautiful city in Europe, and that is Prague. That is an option. European cruises are so popular. How can you beat unpacking one time on a cruise ship and yet parking right in the center of the city, where when you wake up, you can get off the ship, you can walk along the waterway, or you can be a part of some of the many included excursions. This is also the best food you will ever eat on any river or ocean cruise. We use Amadeus. We also use Ama, and we also will book Viking and others. But Amadeus is one of our favorites. And so let's take a look at some of the options we have. Switzerland and the Christmas markets. This is one of our tours, and as a result, you're going to get a huge discount on this tour. And the Christmas markets are one where you could spend a lot of time on a motor coach getting from point A to point B and checking in and out of hotels. But imagine getting to see these Christmas markets in Strasbourg, in Speyer, in Koblenz, in Kochum, and in Cologne, the beautiful city of Cologne and the Cologne Cathedral. Now, the markets are open day and night, and we will see many of them by night, but we will have other sightseeing during the day. So consider this wonderful 9-day tour with some of the best food you've ever eaten. And it is November 30th through December the 8th. It is our charter. We have at least part of the boat, and I hope you will be a part of this. Normandy, Paris, and the Seine River includes all the sights of Paris. On a city tour, we're going to take you to Normandy, including Omaha Beach. You know, there's a number of beaches, Sword Beach and Juno Beach. We're going to do a Rouen walking tour, the Étretat tour as well. We're going to take you on the Amadeus Diamond. It's a newly renovated Amadeus ship as we make our way from Paris all the way to the coastline, and we will see the sights not only of Normandy, but of Giverny, of Monet fame, and so many other wonderful little quaint villages. So I hope you will consider this. Well, you know, there is the special of the reduced deposit, $175, that's half off, and the $25 if you use the savings code. So call us or email us. And you also, listen to this, if you book and pay for your travel protection plan with a deposit, you're going to get to take $20 off of that per person. So there's a lot of advantages to making up your mind. Talk about it. You've got till next Friday to decide. So I hope you'll consider booking with us and getting this savings. How do you make a reservation? Well, there's several ways. You can do it online. You don't even have to talk to someone. If you wish, you can talk to Claudia. You can talk to Joe, who's in the top of the picture. And there are 3 forms. The pink form is all about international. The blue form is if you wish to do a cruise. And the yellow form are for domestic tours. Where do you want to go, folks? I wish I could do them all, but of course time doesn't allow that. But I'm privileged to be a part of AFC and the wonderful tours that I will be leading, and to get to be with you. Nothing better than to be with my AFC friends. So folks, thanks for attending. I hope you'll email us with any questions. Of course, you can call us. And most of all, sign up. Tell a friend about it. If you want to get catalogs to friends, let us know. We can make that happen. Let us allow you and equip you to share the good news of AFC Vacations with those that you work with, that you jog with, or walk with, or volunteer with. You be the ambassador for us, and you will be so happy that you've introduced your friends to our family. Thanks so much for attending.